My name is Fátima García Elena. I'm a consultant at the Data City. So defining economic relatedness is pretty difficult, and I'm sure that you will get a different answer depending on who you ask. So I'd say, in short, economic relatedness focuses on investigating the links between different economic nodes. So what are economic nodes? Well, they can be whatever you want, to be fair. They can be companies, so you can think of relatedness as how do you see the links or the interactions between different companies, or you could think about sectors overall, so how different sectors interact, or even regions, so how different economic regions contribute or work together to produce different things. Well, the way the economy and companies work has changed a lot lately. Traditionally, they used to work more in terms of like chain relationships, and now they operate more like a network. This means that both companies and sectors do several things at the same time, and they're not easily classified as just like this one thing. Therefore, we need to start understanding the economy and the activity of companies in that way. Otherwise, it won't be as representative. For this purpose, our data works especially well, and this is for two main reasons. On the one hand, let's talk about our classifications. So when we do machine learning classifications, that is the method that we use to create our real-time industrial classifications, or RTICs, we let a company fall in more than one category at the same time if it is relevant for that sector or category. So that means that we can look into overlaps between different sectors, and that really is helpful to understand how two sectors may interrelate. For example, let's think of a company that provides AI software for IoT devices. It wouldn't be right to think that that company only contributes to the AI sector or only contributes to the IoT sector. So this is why we let that company fall in both sectors at the same time. And thanks to this quality of our data sets, we can actually map sectors that work very closely together, and we understand how they interact in that way. So that is one way our data is very helpful to understand relatedness. The other way is that we append very relevant data sources at the company level. So for instance, we have been able to append the Innovate UK grants dataset to our company data. And thanks to that, we can see whether companies have applied together for a grant, for instance, what tells us that those two companies have worked together on a particular project, which is indicative of collaboration and therefore of relationships. So this is how our data is really helping us to understand relatedness due to the overlaps between sectors, and also due to other available data sources that allow us to understand how companies relate amongst themselves. This is a very new topic in research, and we're still learning loads. But if I had to highlight a couple of use cases of these data or this analysis, would be first to understand or to find organizations that are very important for a particular network. That means organizations that relate a lot with others. That is, as you understand, for researchers and policymakers, key information, because they know who are the biggest players, if that makes sense. And on the other hand, it also allows you to find communities of economic actors. And when we say communities, we refer to a group of actors that tend to interrelate more amongst themselves than with the rest. And that is very valuable information to know, like which communities in research or like innovation we can find from a total population. Well, this is critical information for policymakers, for investors, for researchers, because in short, it allows them to build or develop way more efficient policies and make decisions that are more impactful. You understand the economic actors as part of a wider network, what will really help like making cohesive decisions. For instance, if you find one of the big players that we just mentioned before, one of these organizations that relates with many, and invest on them, or have any kind of like contribution to the work, you're likely to also impact all the other people they relate with. And the same with communities. If you target communities and you think of the need of a community of actors and then like implement those kind of measures, you're going to have a cohesive impact over the network, instead of just like very, how would I say it, very individual or specific kind of like effect. But we are still learning about economic relatedness. This is something that, again, lots of people are researching at the same time. And yet, if you have any ideas, if you have any feedback, if you want to talk to us about like how to do this better, or any new approach that may come to mind, just feel free to give us a shout. We're always happy to hear new suggestions.